unlike the Doctor, we don't have time machines. However, that doesn't stop us thinking about what the future could be like. So in this video, I thought I'd do something a little bit different, a little bit new. I thought I'd give my predictions for the year of 2025 when it comes to Doctor Who content. What I think could come out, how I think it could be received, etc, etc, etc. Basically, this video is going to go month by month as to what I think could happen, and then, hopefully, if this video does well, at the end of each subsequent year, I'll do a look back seeing what I got right and what I got wrong before predicting the next year and so on and so forth. My one ground rule for this is I'm largely going to be skirting away from Big Finish, other than one example that I will mention later, because frankly, if I tried to list out every announcement I thought Big Finish would make this year, I'd be here for 300 years. So this will mainly focus on things like the show, the spin-offs, animations, collection box sets, and things like the figures as well. But before we get into that, do me a tiny little favour and click that subscribe button. Thank you so much for the influx of subscribers over the last couple of days. I think you all saw that I wanted to break 25,000 for the new year, and we're now less than 100 away, so I can't thank you enough for that. If we can get there before New Year, I'd be so grateful. But let's just get right into it. So first up, January. Joy to the World will have aired the month before. We'll have had a trailer for Season 2. And we'll still be on the buzz from that episode and that trailer, and it will be announced that Season 2 will officially broadcast in March. This is mainly based upon rumours suggesting as such, as well as Russell T Davies himself saying that the next series is coming sooner than we think. I think March makes sense for a couple of reasons, but that is the main one. Also in January, we will get our first character online exclusive of the year. This time it will be some sort of classic Who set. I'm not sure what. I've heard rumours about different sets, but I don't want to lay it down anything in stone. But I will say that in January you'll get a character options online exclusive set of some variety, probably classic Who. We'll get a few more announcements in January, mainly with regards to actors being cast in Season 2, or at least being confirmed to be in the cast for Season 2, as well as writer announcements, because we know, according to Russell T Davies in Doctor Who magazine, that there's going to be several new writers joining the cast for Season 2, so that will probably be confirmed in January as well. Other than that though, January will basically be a quiet month, riding on the wave of Joy to the World, but February is where things really start to kick into high gear. February is essentially where I imagine the promo for Season 2 is really going to kick in, because Ncuti Gatwa's play, The Importance of Being Earnest, ends in February. That's their last showings. So that'll free him up to do all the usual publicity and media circuit. So things like talk shows, radio, magazines, all that sort of stuff. You're going to start to see all that sort of stuff pouring out in February and really just going all at it, given that they've only got like a month and a half to really promote this series before it airs. I even think they'll do the same thing as they did last year, where you get like a new title for an episode released every hour, and then it all culminates in a trailer. I thought that was quite effective last year, so I think the same will happen in February of this year. This month we'll also see the first rumours about potential Season 3 filming, but this will largely be drowned out by a ton of Season 2 promotional clips and material. March. Season 2 begins airing. I predict that it'll actually be a bit better received than Season 1 due to its new writers, and therefore a bit less controversial, and due to it coming out earlier in the year, as well as coming off of Joy to the World, which I predict will have quite good viewing figures, we'll see a boost from Season 1. If I had to predict, given that the max of Season 1 after 7 days was around 4 million, I predict it will reach a max of 5 million in 7 days for one episode. Probably the first episode or the series midpoint. However, unfortunately, due to the midnight release, the growth of Season 2 will not be that big compared to Season 1. March also marks the 20th anniversary of New Who, and this is where I'll break my one rule on Big Finish and say that I think they'll announce some sort of 9 and Rose audio box set for the 20th anniversary of New Who. Russell has already said that he's not planning on doing too much to mark that occasion, so I think it would make sense for Big Finish to do a Rose and 9 audio series and announce it around this time. I think people would be very excited for it. Both actors seem up for it, and yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't do it. It feels like the money would just print itself. But I'm not going to cover any more Big Finish, because otherwise, as I said, we'll be here all day. Everything that they've said is going to be released in 2025 would still be released So just assume that that's part of this lineup. April and May I've kind of bundled together because this will largely be Season 2's month, given that it's an 8-week run. Season 2 will end in time for May Day due to some recent filming pictures showing a poster for May Day in the finale, so we can assume that roughly Season 2 will end around then. But after the transmission of Season 2, we will finally get our answer on what's happening with Season 3. Now, I went back and forth on this prediction for a little bit as I was coming up with ideas for this video, because on the one hand, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that the deal won't be renewed, and it's probably going to end. However, there is some evidence to suggest that Disney might want to carry it on. So I sort of thought, well, what's the middle point? And I thought of a compromise, which is essentially Disney keep it, but the deal is somewhat renegotiated. The full details of the renegotiation won't be made public, but my best guess will be that Disney will put a bit less money into things like advertising moving forward, so you won't see things like billboards or, you know, trains decked out with Doctor Who stuff like you did with Season 1. More likely, they'll become more of a standard distributor in the same vein as HBO was. On the topic of HBO, I also believe that Disney will negotiate to get New Who onto Disney+. Granted, it might not actually become available until 2026 due to existing deals, but what this would essentially do is maintain more Doctor Who fans staying on the service when Doctor Who wasn't on. Because if you remember, I did a video talking a while ago about how apparently one of the big reasons why Disney weren't as happy with Doctor Who as they could be is that a lot of people were subscribing to watch Doctor Who and then leaving once they were done. So by having the Doctor Who back catalogue made available, you kind of counteract that problem. In return though, the BBC will request the ditching of the midnight release strategy following the success of the Christmas specials, to the delight of many UK Doctor Who fans and the dismay of many Australians who were finally getting it at a decent time. But I mean, no time ever works for everyone. Following the news that Disney remain on board, Season 3 will begin filming in May. June's a fun month because I've had to basically guess what they're going to announce for June. I predict we'll get a new missing episode animation, given that the last one will have been announced towards the end of this year, so 6 months on, I think that kind of makes sense. And I decided to go for a Troughton. Specifically, I think The Wheel in Space is a great candidate. It's a popular story, it's got the Cybermen in it. I think that's a good shout. But honestly, it could be any of them. This month we'll also see the announcement of some new Doctor Who figures for the new era. Just like with this year, we will get 2 new Ncuti Gatwas, one as a Character Options Online exclusive, the other as a retail. Same goes for the new companion, Belinda Chandra. And we will also get our first villain of the Gatwa era in figure form. I'm not exactly sure who they'll pick. Probably someone from Series 2, which makes it hard to predict because we haven't seen most of the monsters from Series 2. But we will also get a 60th line, which will contain a coatless 14th Doctor, the Wrath Warrior that we've seen shown off at toy fairs with a little Meep accessory, and a Toymaker figure. The reason they won't do Donna will be because of the Catherine Tate likeness. But I'd be happy to get a Toymaker anyway. But other than that, June's a pretty quiet month following the Doctor Who overload of April and May. July's a big one because the gang will once again go to Comic-Con. Just like last year, they'll have a panel discussing the latest season that went out, which for them will be Season 2. But we will also get a brand new trailer for The War Between Land and Sea and the announcement that it will release in October. Now, I know some people thought that maybe this would get delayed into 2026, but given in this universe, Doctor Who Season 3 begins filming as soon as Season 2 ends transmission, that doesn't happen. And the original intent to air it in the later half of 2025 will happen. But that's not all we will get at San Diego Comic-Con, for it will also be announced that Tales of the TARDIS will make its way over to Disney+, alongside the announcement of a second series of it. And this will be what Sylvester McCoy was hinting towards in a recent interview with the 50% Doctor Who podcast, where he said the reason for Tales of the TARDIS was to reintroduce the Doctors to the audience. I don't think Sylvester will make his way to the main series just yet. I think we're a bit too early in this new era for that. But I think a second series of Tales of the TARDIS would make sense. And again, it would be another way to sweeten the deal for Disney Plus so that they don't drop the show. And there will also be another brand new Sonic to buy from San Diego Comic-Con, either the yellow finale variant that we see in Legendary Sunday and Empire of Death, or a brand new variant from Season 2, which will be made available in the UK shortly after the event. August will be a fun month because it will see the announcement of the next collection box set following Season 7 late this year. They're normally a bit earlier than this, but given how stacked the rest of the year was, I thought August would make sense. and it is the Season 21 collection, the final Davison series to be made into a collection. The reason I picked Season 21 is because we haven't had a Davison one in a couple of years, and also it'd be nice to see Davison complete on the shelf. It also has Caves of Androzani, which is incredibly highly rated by the fan base, so I think this would get a big cheer. We'll also get our first B&M sets announced this month. For the classic series, I picked out a Third Doctor, a Sea Devil, and a Joe Grant. Obviously, this is mainly based off of the 70s story of the Sea Devils, but I also picked it because we're soon going to be getting the War Between the Land and the Sea, so I think the Sea Devils would make a nice tie-in for that as well. For our New Who set, we're going to get a History of the Daleks set. This time it will be the Imperial Guard and Dalek Thay with the damaged back from Series 3. A lot of these will probably be wrong, but it's just part of the fun. August will also be the month that Season 3 wraps filming, being a relatively quick turnaround for the season, but there'll probably be a lot of post-production on top of that. September is a relatively quiet month compared to the last few, but there are two big things that are happening. Mainly, Season 4 begins filming because it's going to go back to back, like was the case with Season 1 and 2, but also we will begin promoting The War Between the Land and the Sea in earnest. So you'll again get all the cast on the talk shows, The One Show, Graham Norton, all that sort of stuff. You might also get some coverage in things like SFX magazine, maybe Radio Times, stuff like that. That's when The War Between is going to be focused on in like the media. October, The War Between airs on BBC One to a mixed reception. Many fans bemoaning the design. It's also more romantic focused than many were expecting. Viewing figures are stronger than something like Class, but below Season 1 overall. Russell T Davies will probably say something like the door is still open for spin-offs, but we probably won't hear about them for some time after this. We'll also get our second pair of B&M sets this month, which will include a coatless 11th Doctor, a Weeping Angel and Silurian to make a nice 11th Doctor set, and then also another History of the Dalek set. This time it will be a Special Weapons Dalek and a Destroyed Dalek. We will also get the announcement of a 15th Doctor Flight Control TARDIS. Now, Al Diwar did recently say that this would be a B&M thing, but I honestly don't really see it being a B&M release, so I'm going to say it will more than likely end up a Character Options Online exclusive. Maybe it'll come with another new Gatwa figure. November will see the release of Tales of the TARDIS on Doctor Who Day. We'll also get another collection box set announced this month. This time I picked Season 16, the Key to Time season. It's been a little while since the last Tom, and you've got to get the Key to Time season out at some point, so I thought, why not do it now? But we will also get our next colorization announced this month as well, as that seems to be a new yearly tradition. And I think they'll go for another Troughton. I went back and forth on this for some time, and if there are any more likely candidates, let me know down in the comments below. But in the end, I thought that Tomb of the Cybermen might be one of the most likely candidates to get the colorized treatment. Despite the fact that I don't think it would overly benefit from being colorized, it's a very iconic story. It's also a Cyberman story, which also helps the appeal of it. So yeah, I think that will be the next colorization that we see. Again, very much could be wrong. Other candidates I came up with would be the Romans, if they wanted to do another First Doctor, or the Time Meddler. Oh, we will also get a trailer for the next Christmas special in November as well. And then finally, December, we will see the release of the Tomb colorization alongside the 2025 Christmas special and a potential teaser for Season 3. I'm not expecting this to be as fully formed as what we're probably going to get for Season 2. And like we have this month, some casting info for the next series. And that about wraps up my list of things that could happen in 2025. Give me your predictions in the comments below. I had a ton of fun putting this together. A lot of it's probably going to end up inaccurate, but if anything does turn out to be accurate, please comment down below, oh my god, you were a genius. And if it doesn't, say, oh my god, I can't believe you believed this. But whatever your thoughts are, drop them down in the comments below. Let's talk about it. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.